What happens when an ordinary girl is thrust into the heart of a royal intrigue, a challenge so great it could shape the fate of an entire nation? This is the story of Esther, a woman whose courage and wit surfaced amid shadows of danger and deceit. In a time long ago in the realms of ancient Persia, King Xerxes reigned over a mighty empire stretching from India to Ethiopia. Yet even the greatest of empires isn't immune to the whims of fate. The setting, a bustling citadel called Susa, where ambitions collided and whispers of political intrigue filled the air. Amidst the tapestries and treasures of the palace, a humble Jewish girl named Esther suddenly found herself in a position of unimaginable power. How, you ask? By becoming queen. But this wasn't a mere tale of rags to riches. You see, Esther's rise to royalty was born out of an ominous event: Queen Vashti's sudden fall from grace. Banished for defying the king, her seat remained vacant. A search began for a new queen. Enter Esther, guided by her wise cousin Mordecai, whose whisperings urged her to hide her Jewish identity from the king. What a tangled web she wove, seated as the unexpected queen, her heart hidden behind royal robes. Yet power in the palace was as fragile as a silken thread. Esther had barely begun to grasp her new role when the scene shifted to an even darker plot. Enter Haman, the king's advisor, a man whose heart boiled with hatred, whose sights were dangerously set on the Jewish people. Why? Because of Mordecai's refusal to bow to him. The air thickened with tension as Haman spun his sinister plan into motion, an edict decreeing the destruction of the Jews, signed with the king's seal. What do you do when faced with the impossible? Mordecai turned to Esther, a beacon of hope in this turmoil, imploring her to plead with the king. But approaching the king unbidden was a death sentence. So what did Esther do? Her choice, a daring decision etched with faith and bravery. Setting all fear aside, she fasted for 3 days. A tense silence hung over her city, an entire people holding their breath. So what happened? Esther set a plan in motion, one that required not just bravery, but imagination and tact. On the 3rd day, Esther approached the throne. Palms sweating, heart racing, she stood with eyes fixed resolutely on King Xerxes, ready to face her fate. Would he extend the golden scepter, a signal granting her permission to speak? The room waited, pregnant with anticipation. But he did. Esther's heart soared with hope renewed. But Esther was not rash. She invited the king and Haman to a banquet she prepared. Curiosity piqued, Xerxes and Haman attended, unaware of the storm quietly brewing beneath the festivities. As they reclined among the lavish feast, Esther's request for another banquet, a second in as many days, caught them by surprise. "What is it that you desire?" the king asked, as cups were filled with wine. Esther was wise. She let the suspense build, for the greater the plague, the sharper the sword. The next night, bathed in the warm glow of braziers, King Xerxes asked once more. Taking a deep breath, Esther unfurled her true desire, the salvation of her people. "If I have found favor in your sight, O king," she spoke, her voice clear, "and if it pleases the king, let my life be granted me and my people at my request." The king was stunned. Haman, the architect of desolation, paled amid revelation. Xerxes, outraged by betrayal so close to home, asked who dared threaten his queen and her people. Esther pointed to the vile Haman, whose guise of loyalty shattered in the ensuing chaos. Thus, Haman was undone by his own device, paving the way for a new decree, one that armed the Jews to defend themselves, a victory ingeniously crafted by Esther's hidden courage. Through this tale of shadow and light, Esther, an ordinary girl, embodied the extraordinary. Her courage saved a nation. So what can we learn from Esther's story? That sometimes the power to change the world dwells in the heart of the most unexpected of heroes. Therein lies the timeless power of courage, the courage to stand, to speak, to save. Inspired by Esther, who fought with nothing but her wisdom and heart, we are reminded that even in the darkest hours, one voice can echo through eternity.